Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday Eve. Hope everyone is having an amazing day and welcome to the Mamapreneur podcast. Tonight's episode is episode 61. Again, every time I'm like, we've done another episode. Oh my God. But it's so much fun. That's why we keeping the party train going, okay? So, episode 61 is our podcasters episode. This is the third time doing this episode of the podcasters only. And this show is tonight is going to spotlight five amazing podcasters, all different genres, niches. Everybody's doing their own thing. It is just going to be great. I can't wait for you guys to see them, A, and B, hear more about these amazing ladies. They're out here doing great things, lots of talent in the room. And so it's going to be a great night, and I'm excited. So, first things first, welcome to tonight's episode. My first timers, welcome. For my people that have been with us 60 episodes in, thank you for always tuning in and showing us sisters some love, okay? Also, shouts out to the fearless leader of Power Team, Miss Kesha Kesh, for being on this journey with me. 61 episodes in, baby. All right. Uh, Again, there will be no Mamapreneur podcast without you. So I always give you your flowers every show because you're just that awesome. So, my audience. So, I always put you guys to work every show. And so we're going to do that first before I even get to what I have to say. So, first things first, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Make sure you are sharing tonight's live broadcast. Share, share, share. I do drawings every episode and I give out some cool stuff. So, you got to share the live or share the replay in order to get added into the drawing. So, share while you're at it. Also, you're going to let us know where you're tuning in from in the comments. We have people from DMV area. We have Dallas Fort Worth on tonight. We have Chicago on tonight. So we have people that are on the show from all over, but we sure got people that listen or watch from all over. So let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. All right. So, lastly, if you are an entrepreneur in the chat, you're an entrepreneur and you have a business of some sort, whether you're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, I would like for you to tag your business info in the chat or put your business website, social media, whatever. And we're going to network in the chat, okay? You never know who may need your services. I say this every show. I'm so serious. The more you talk about your brand, the more chances that you get it out there for people to see. And you just never know where your next client, investor, or collaborator will come from unless you talk about it and promote it. All right. So put your business info in the chat, no matter where you are, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, put your info in the chat. Again, you never know who may need your services. Okay. Also, I got some amazing ladies that are going to be talking tonight that I'm interviewing. If you have a question for any of these ladies, please feel free to type in the chat. Engage with us. This is an engagement show. We are engaging. So I want the audience to engage with us as well, honey. So if you have a question for me, if you feeling something one of the ladies is saying, chime in the comments. We appreciate that. So chime in the comments. All right. So first things first, happy Black History Month, everybody. Happy Black History Month. Say it loud. I'm Black and I'm proud. Okay. And I want to give a special shout out to Natalie Clark, a great friend of mine. She is the founder of I Am Strong, and she is having a Black History event. It's called the Evening of Black Culture, Black History Program. So if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it will be held on February 24th at UT Arlington. And for more info, I'll post in the comments the link to her event. I didn't get to post it beforehand. So I will post the link in the chat where you can register to attend her event. She may still be looking for talent. So it's going to be spoken word and, song and dance. So, if you're talented, you're in the DFW area, you want to get those talents out there, I'll provide the link to register and the link to get a hold of Natalie Clark so you can attend the event. So it's going to be amazing. All right. Evening of Black Culture. All right. All right. So, few announcements before I get into my ladies. So, first announcement is, have you subscribed to the Mamapreneur podcast YouTube channel? You should. So, when the show is over, I need you to go over to the Mamapreneur podcast YouTube channel and subscribe. All right. All things Mamapreneur. The show is live there now. All the things. So, want to make sure that you are in the know and staying updated to all things Mamapreneur podcast. All righty. And Mamapreneur Enterprises, because we are doing lots of events this year. Just had Mimosas and Visions at the beginning of the year. There will be other events open to the public, especially if you're here in Dallas-Fort Worth, that you can attend. All right. Next, have you ordered your Mamapreneur merch? I got a few things to show there. Hold on, let me show you the mug first. I always show the mug. Hopefully you guys can see that. The mugs are 15, limited edition. So if all right, technical difficulties. That's live podcasting. Okay, let's try this again. Mamapreneur podcast mug. Close up. Again, these are $15. And if you're interested in a mug, you can reach out to me directly. This is one. Got a few shirts. Hopefully, hold on. All right. Virtual background is being a hater. It says she owns a business. She minds her business. She's about her business. She is me. I am she. All right. That's one. That's another. And we can do these in any color you would like. And the most recent shirt is one of my favorites, actually. On this show, I use a term called Jackie of all trades. So we have a Jackie of all trades shirt. If you are interested in a shirt, please shoot me a direct message and I can give you more details on how you can get your shirt. And I can get you some clearer pictures since virtual background was being a little bit of a hater. It's okay. Being a little bit of a hater tonight. All righty. Next, now booking for guest spots for 2024 for the Mamapreneur podcast and for sponsorship slots for paid ads. So if you are a business owner out there and you would like to get your name, your brand out there to new eyes, ears, all the things, reach out to me directly through at Mamapreneur Podcast, Facebook and IG, and we'll chat on how you can be a guest on the show, or I can promote your business for you during a live taping. So more to come there. But yes, now booking for 2024. If you've been wanting to come on the show and haven't had the opportunity, this is your sign to come and join us. All right. All righty. So, for those who know me, I've been having webinars lately. The webinars have been amazing. We just had one Tuesday night with podcasting. That was a great turnout. The ladies enjoyed it. That was so much fun. So, my next webinar, save the date, March 11th, 2024, 7 p.m., and it is how to stand out as an entrepreneur in a saturated market. Everybody does the same things, but how do you stand out in a saturated market? So, link will be posted, and I'll be posting it throughout Mamapreneur podcast social media, so you'll see it as well, so you can register. I do have limited spots for my webinars, and there's a reason for that. So, March 11th, 2024, webinar, How to Stand Out in a Saturated Market as an Entrepreneur. So hopefully you are able to attend and register. Link coming soon on that. For those that follow me on IG, I've been doing a little series, an IG live series. And so if you're not following me on IG, it is at Mamapreneur Podcast on IG. I'm going to be doing some lives all next week. Make sure you are tuned in. I'm going to be spotlighting some previous guests, just a catch-up session with my previous guests. So make sure you are tuned in on IG next week, starting Monday. I'm on live pretty much every day next week. So get ready for that. So reintroduce you guys to some of my previous guests. The show is almost 3 years old. So some of those guests hadn't been on in a while, and it's a great way to introduce those people to you and some of my favorite people. All right. Last announcement is I did this last year and it turned out to be just an amazing turnout. And so I am doing it again, and it is the Mamapreneur Pitch Competition. What that is a pitch competition. You will provide a minute video, up to a minute video, promoting and pitching your business. There will be prizes, all the things. Last year, I had 2 winners, Eugenia and Soraya, and it was a great time. I enjoyed their videos. And it kind of helps you and teaches you how to do that elevator pitch. If someone were to ask you right now, what do you do? They ain't got time for a 10-minute spiel. You need to be able to hook them in quick, fast, and in a hurry. So that's where the Mamapreneur Pitch Competition comes in. All right. Quick discussion topic before I get to my ladies. So I talk to people all the time, network all the time, all over town or virtually. And something I wanted to touch on in regards to networking is the importance of the follow-up after a networking event. Some of us go to networking events. You probably got a whole drawer at your house right now full of cards. You ain't networked. You haven't followed up since the networking. You probably haven't followed them on social media yet. Them cards just sitting there collecting dust. So you go to the networking events. You didn't sparked up a conversation with whomever, and you ask for a business card. Or now we got the digital cards with Popple and Hi Hello and Blink and all the things. But you never take the time to follow up after, because at networking events, it's so quick. It's so short. So you don't really get to know that person. You just get a little tidbit. It's always good to follow up after and like soon after, because folks be forgetting after a while. You can't, 4 weeks later, 3 weeks later, be like, hey, girl, I met you at this event, da 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 da. That person probably already forgot about you. Now, who? What? So you have to follow up like soon after you go to these networking events and meet people, especially me, because I meet people all the time, regardless of field, things like that. I always meet entrepreneurs, especially a little bit of everywhere and from all over. So if I don't have it in the calendar to remember to follow up with you, to talk to you, I didn't forget. So I'm pretty sure it's the same way with others. Okay. So the reason why I'm following up after a networking event is important. When you follow up with, if someone follows up with you, please don't leave them on red, leave them hanging. At least find out who they are. If you didn't forgot, please at least find out who they are first, and then get to know one another. Not necessarily just talk about the business piece, but truly get to know each other. Entrepreneurship and networking is strictly relationship. They got to get to know you first before, and that's even in entrepreneurship, period. Know, like, trust. They got to be able to know who you are, see if they can trust you, see if they like you first. They may not like you, or they may like you. It just depends. But that follow up is so key and important to kind of get to know one another. Any guest that comes to this platform, we've had a conversation first before you come here, because I want to be able to talk to you, get to know you, be able to see also when networking with folks, seeing how you can be of service to that entrepreneur, not always trying to get something out of the deal, being of service, because it's a cycle. So it's going to come back around. If it's you, the one that's helping first, it's going to come back around. A lot of my guests that have been on my show, I've done things on their platforms for them, vice versa. And that's just how it goes. So it's all about connection. And again, you may need that person later for whatever they do. So if it's someone that creates websites, you may need a website. So keep the connections going after the initial meetup at a networking event. Just want to put that out there, because I see that a lot with people. They'll go to these events, but don't take action after they've met the people at the events. So that's all I had. All right. So had to give you guys a little teaching real quick before I get to my ladies. So again, tonight's episode is all about my podcasting guests tonight. So all these ladies have podcasts, all different podcasts, all different niches, but they're out here doing they're doing a doggone thing. They're doing well for themselves. They have other businesses. We got coaches, doctors, just everybody do a little bit of everything. Kesha, you can go ahead and bring my ladies up. So my first victim is what I call them off camera, but my first guest is the amazing Dr. Jennifer Matthews. And she's going to tell you about her podcast and the amazing things that she is doing. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jennifer Matthews. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good. So glad to have you here tonight with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It felt like I just booked you, child, but it's been a while.
It was like yesterday. I think it was.
So I want you to tell everybody about your podcasting platform, kind of who does it serve and target, and then talk about your other things that you have going on in business.
So my podcast is called Criminal Justice Corner. And on Criminal Justice Corner, we talk about true crime stories. So it could be any crime that's in the news currently. It could be past, but I try to keep the things really relatable. So anything that's happening right now, anything that's gone viral. So we give you the real details behind the story. And then at the end of giving the real details, we're going to talk about it and then give you actionable advice about how you can potentially get yourself out of it in case you find yourself in that same situation.
Oh my gosh. Now, what made you decide to go that route? I always ask people especially that of all things.
So I am third generation law enforcement. I have a doctorate in criminal justice. I'm a former deputy sheriff. So I have over 16 years in the field of criminal justice. So it just seemed right, actually.
Mm-hmm. Seems fitting.
It really did. It kind of like fell into my lap, if you will. People always ask me for my opinions on different things that, let's say, they get themselves into. They're like, what do I do? I've just been pulled over by the police, or my son is dealing with this kind of situation. My daughter is dealing with this kind of situation. What should I do? So I thought that was really good to just talk about it, because I do talk about it all the time,
right.
But to expand my audience, if you will, by starting a podcast.
Okay. And where can your podcast be seen?
So I'm on Amazon Music and Spotify and on YouTube as well, both.
How often?
So every week I'll post a new video every week. And I'm always looking for guests. So if any of the ladies are interested, you don't have to have a background in criminal justice to come on Criminal Justice Corner. I always say that because I feel like crime happens to everybody. Just for a prime example, my car was stolen last 2 months ago. My car was stolen. So it can happen to anybody. Crime happens to anybody, everybody, regardless of size, shape, race, gender, creed. It happens. So anybody can come on Criminal Justice Corner and talk about crime.
Okay. Come on now. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Thank you, Dr. Jennifer. Okay. Next victim is she's on the screen as big speaker, but I like to call her Dana. So the amazing Dana Duckworth. And I'm gonna let her tell you the name of her show. I love the name of her show. Go ahead, Dana.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on your platform. I'm so excited. Yes, my name is Dana Duckworth, but on my show, I go by Big Speaker. My show is called Hilariously Unemployed. And now, but it's the big speaker, never the little one, because I've got a lot of voice packed in this 5'1" body.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. You gotta let it out. Let it out.
Mhm.
Hey.
Absolutely.
So tell everyone about Hilariously Unemployed and what made you decide to say, hey, I'm taking what I've gone through and seen in corporate America and I'm turning it into a podcast.
Yes, from layoffs to lemonade. So I was laid off in I got the notice in March of 2023. And my last employment date, or I like to say my expiration date when they put me out, child, was June the 30th of 2023. And throughout that whole process, I was just struggling, trying to figure out what was next. I had a mix of emotions, and I knew that other people had to be dealing with this as well because transitioning out of a role is stressful. You're trying to figure out what happens from here. So I really just wanted to help others. So I started my podcast right after I got laid off, and it has been on and popping ever since. So I highlight others who have been impacted by either layoffs, reductions in force, acquisitions, or people who are simply unemployed and trying to figure it out. I really want through my podcast to get somebody hired. So that's my ultimate goal.
Hey, I love it. Again, the name right off the bat. And I'll talk about names in a minute, but just the name of your show, I just hollered. I said, man, I bet you some craziness on this show. And I've seen a few episodes and I've laughed every time because not just laughing just because you're naturally funny, but it's just the scenarios of it all. So
Yeah, I had a
love.
guest who got her layoff news while she was in line for a ride at Disneyland. And I had to ask her, well, did you still go on the ride? She said yes, because we
Yeah.
paid for the quick queue. So she did. But, it's really laughter is a theme in my life and it helps me get through so many things. So why not laugh at it in order to get through it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I love it. Let everyone know how they can tune into your show and how often does it air.
Yes, so I do things a little bit different on Hilariously Unemployed because my mission is to get someone hired. So my show is actually a LinkedIn live audio event that typically takes place every Friday. Season 2 is launching next Friday, so you can catch me on LinkedIn live audio at 3 p.m. if you follow me, Dana Duckworth. And then from there, my show goes onto podcast platforms. That is your Spotify's, YouTube's, anywhere you get your pod on, you can find Hilariously Unemployed. You can follow me, of course, on Instagram. And once we start rolling with season 2, it is every Friday at 3. Either I'm giving you laughs, I'm giving you resources, or I'm bringing you a story that maybe you can relate to.
Absolutely. Love it. Thank you, Boo. All righty. My next fabulous podcaster, we met at a networking event. My next two all met at the same networking event that was held by a good friend of mine here in DFW, and just connected, loved her personality and both of their personalities. I'm like, y'all coming to the show. And that is Natalie Janine Gates, and she is your career coach. She podcasts and she gonna coach on your career. She gonna do all the things. Natalie Janine Gates. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Loving this lipstick, honey. I meant to tell you that
Thank
earlier. Just
you.
fabulous, honey. So let everyone know about Your Life, Your Rules podcast and your business.
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Natalie Janine Gates, and so I'm a freedom coach. I work with women who feel stuck in the corporate grind and how it's impacting their future financial vision for themselves. My goal is to help women make more money. So I started my podcast a couple of years ago, and it's always been Your Life, Your Rules, and I really want to encourage women to show up and show out. And so the podcast talks a lot about your career. How do you go about that? How do you avoid working for a toxic workplace? But also, how do you show up confidently and own that? And so that's what the podcast is all about.
Love it. Love it. And how long has your podcast been around? I
I think
forget.
we're going on year 2 or 3.
I knew we weren't too far from each other. That's why I was like, I think like you told me. I forgot. Okay.
Yeah.
Let everyone know how your podcast can be seen. How can they follow? Well, not follow, but how can they see your podcast?
Yes. So it's Your Life, Your Rules, and an episode comes out every Tuesday at 4:44 a.m. And it's on every platform you can think of: Spotify, Apple Podcast, and all the other places. But yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Of course, of course. I'm just glad that you were able to come on and bless us with your sunshine. So,
Thank you.
all righty. Next, I met her at the same networking event. Guys, do you guys see the common trend? Networking. Get out there, meet some
Mhm.
people. It's okay.
Mhm.
All right. Next, the amazing Ebony Brinson, Diva Ebony B. Hey, beautiful.
Hey, Queen. Hey, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let everyone know about the podcast lounge and all the things, how you got started.
All right. Peace and blessings, family. My name is Diva Ebony B. Moss. I am the creator and producer of Diva Spot Podcast Lounge, where we talk all things fabulous, family, fun, and faith. I started my podcast just this October. I have been doing radio for the last 10 years. So we branched from Diva Spot Radio and going into Diva Spot Podcast Lounge. We air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can check us out on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram at Diva Spot Podcast Lounge. Or you can check us out in all the fabulous things that we're doing at www.divaspotent.blogspot.com.
How did you deal with the transition of that? If you was on radio before and then
You
you
know
said,
what? It was actually super easy because when I started out in radio, I was doing intern. I lived in Jersey. Big shout out to Jersey. Big shout out to New York. And then I started with Blog Talk Radio, and Blog Talk Radio is basically now it was internet radio, and now it's called podcasting. So it was fairly easy to do
right,
it, and then working with a great platform like StreamYard. I went through a couple of platforms, and I love the fact that we can do the audio and the visual and everything all in one. So it really wasn't that hard.
okay, good to know. I know someone else that kind of did something similar, and I always ask that. I asked her that same question, like, how did you transition
Mhm.
from that, between the two? So amazing. Thank you, Ebony B. All righty. Last but not least, last victim is the amazing Chauncia Jones. Chauncia is one of my girls. This is her second time on the Mamapreneur podcast. Um, I mentioned earlier about having a podcasting webinar, and Chauncia got to sit in on one of those webinars, and she told me she was, going to get it up and running. And here we are, another name. I was like, come on, name. Chauncia, tell everybody about your show, name of your show, all the things. You on mute. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I am Chauncey Jones, aka Miss C. Jones, the Aquarian Chancellor on my podcast, the Girl Get Up podcast, Life and Time of an Infinite Dreamer. And it's basically where I do on my podcast.
Get you some claps, girl. You know, don't you miss the sound effects? Okay, go ahead.
You can't miss the sound effects. But basically, my podcast is a podcast of inspiration. Because I am a career coach for youth, I have a career curriculum designed for youth ages 16 to 25, and it's called the Infinite Dreamers Program, where I'm talking about the mindset and going out and discovering your infinite possibilities. So it came to me, it's like, how am I going to be talking to these youth about going out and living in your fullest potential? And it's things that I wanted to do that I wrote down back in 2015. And it's like, you need to get up. It's go out and pursue your infinite possibilities, do it, accomplish your goals, and show the youth by leading by example. So that was the inception of the Girl Get Up podcast.
Amazing. That's a good t-shirt. Girl Get Up. That is such a good t-shirt. I'm here for it.
Thank you for that idea. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, go ahead. You know, free 99
birthday gift.
Free 99. When's your birthday again?
Tomorrow.
You're an old lady. All right, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're not old, just a little seasoned.
That's okay. Listen, with age comes wisdom. I'm all for it.
I love it. Well, thank you for being here tonight and blessing us with your presence on your birthday eve, girl. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I got some round table questions for my podcasters tonight. So I'm going to ask a question and you guys just chime in when you're ready to chime in. All right. So some of you might have answered, but I'm going to go around anyway. So everybody has their own particular areas that they work in and all the things, but podcasting, yeah, everybody has one. I did a study, over 5 million and counting. Over 5 million podcasts on the air right now and counting. Now, I like to do these spotlights so you guys could see the different podcasts that are out there. But I also talk about it in my webinar, like how you going to stand out if you want to start your podcast. So for right now, if someone was on Apple right now, or someone was on Spotify right now, and they're scrolling to see who to listen to, I always ask people, what is going to make people stop in their tracks and listen to yours? Because there's so many out there. So many true crime. So many on being unemployed and laid off and all the joys of corporate America. Ain't that right, Dana? All the joys. But what is going to make you stand out? So I threw that stat in there for those that are out there listening or watching that want to start a podcast. You know, it's real out here in these podcast streets, but anyone can start one. It's just how you develop it and all the things. And then you see everybody has different genres. Everyone has a different niche. So just pointing that out there. So what inspired you guys to go podcast route? Yes, you have the knowledge of whatever it is you're working in, but what made you say, all right, I'm going to turn this into a podcast? Anybody can go.
For me, people had always been telling me that I should have a podcast because I think of the sound of my voice in the deeper register is easy to listen to. And I was like, I never want to have anything that I say recorded and played back to me.
Yes.
I was against it for years and years and years. And then I got laid off. And that really just was like, girl, what do you have to lose? Nothing. Like, right. Let your light shine and hopefully you can help some others through it. So I think that podcasting was just like everybody had one. And I'm like, why couldn't I do it? People have been telling me I could do it. So it really was that self-belief in like, girl, you can do this. And the first time I got on that mic and started just talking my stuff, I was like, oh no, you were built to do this. This
Absolutely.
is your thing.
Yes. Okay.
I would like to add to that. It's so freeing to express yourself. express your thoughts, your opinions. Talk about your day. Talk about what impacts you, because you never know the stories that you have that you share with other people, how that may translate into their lives, and it inspires them to, step out their comfort zone. You never know what they got going on that they need that inspiration for the day. And they listen to your episode, and you're the one to give it to them.
Yep.
And I would say for me, the creative control. I love to have the creative control of creating great
Yes.
content and creating a great, beautiful picture of women, Black women, what a mom looks like, what a wife looks like, and not just what the media is pushing a false narrative or a negative narrative of who they actually think we are. So having the creative control to create my own logos, my own designs, showcase the people that I know that's really boots on the ground, 10 toes down in the community, and it's not a lot of fluff. So having that creative control and no red tape, oh, that was great for me.
Yes, ma'am. Your show, your way. I'll tell anybody that. Your show, your way. Nobody can come and tell you, you can't do that. Yes, you can. Your show, your way. So, yes, ma'am. Anyone else? Anyone else have anything they want
I
to
love
add?
that. I also would say that it gives you an opportunity to build community, as well as inspiring somebody. Like people are going through things, and I love how all of our podcasts are more than just about ourselves. It's really about giving back and helping people and honoring their stories and their experiences. And so I love when like someone will send a message, "Oh my God, this episode really helped me. Thank you so much." And I had a woman recently tell me, like, it feels like I'm on my couch talking to my girlfriend. I always wanted my show to feel that way, even though I'm talking about negotiations. I love talking about money, but money should not stress someone out. I want to make it fun. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to build community with others.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it.
I would say the reason why I wanted to build my podcast was to give others a voice. With dealing with crime, yes, a lot of people have crime podcast shows, but a lot of times they don't have others to talk about it. So with my podcast, I do have guests on there and people are watching the news. I'm one in particular. I love to watch the news and I always have opinions about what I see on the news. And people don't get a chance to express their opinions about the news.
I
So I
bet you
wanted
passionate on the. I bet you be passionate watching the news. Like you have,
Girl,
you ready? You like I'm
you
gonna
don't
talk
get
about
me
that on the
started.
show. I'm
Yes.
ready.
Yes. So I wanted to give people a platform to talk about literally the news. It's so much crime that's happening now, and people don't get a chance to express themselves about it. So I really wanted to give people a platform.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that. All righty. Next, what opportunities have presented themselves since starting your show? Anybody can go. I got a speaking engagement out of mine.
Yeah, speaking engagements, asking to people asking for you to come and grace their stage, speak to their audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
It
the
was
I
very helpful.
opportunity.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead,
I
Ebony.
got the opportunity. A young lady reached out to me, and she was actually a guest on my show. And she knows that I do advertising and promotion and showcase. And she wanted me to coach her as a business coach, as a mentor. And I was kind of surprised, like, you want me to mentor you? And my husband heard the conversation. And I said, well, you know what? Let me sit down and let's talk about what that looks like, just to make sure it's the right fit. And she ended up becoming a great client now. And now she's booked with a 6-month contract with me. And
Okay.
I was very surprised that happened. And my husband told me, he said, love, you've been doing this whole time. Do you realize that you always pour into women in business? You always give them a resource. You've been the plug. Now you didn't even know that somebody wanted you to mentor them. So that was a great opportunity.
Yeah, you've been doing it for free 99 all this time.
Yes,
Charge.
I have.
Charge. Yeah.
Yes.
Jennifer's
I would
face. What I do, Jennifer? What? Go ahead, Jennifer. Don't mind me.
She told the
I
truth.
would
She right. I've been doing it for free
piggyback.
99, but I was so used to charging for other services, and usually, like whatever I'm good at, I'm good at it, and it comes
Create a new
naturally.
revenue stream.
And I created a new revenue for myself and didn't even realize it because I just wanted to see her win. And I showcased her business so well and just gave her a couple of tips. And she was like, well, do you have mentorship services? And I was like, let me look at that. Then I went and created it. Shout out to AI. And
Hey,
now we got
we
the
do
service.
now.
Thank you, Lord.
Okay.
Facts.
We do now. Yes. We can do for you. We can do for you.
I
Anybody
was
else?
gonna- yeah, I was gonna say it has given me the opportunity to meet amazing people. For example, I was able to meet one of Bill Cosby's rape accusers.
Wow.
That was huge for me.
Do tell.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You sipping that
Right?
tea? Yes, because I'm always looking for podcast guests, and that is an alleged crime because I was not
Right.
there.
Right.
And so I was able to book one of his alleged victims on my podcast and interview her. Yeah, and it was an amazing episode. She's an amazing woman, amazing.
Oh my.
Well, I don't have an answer like that.
Me neither, girl. Me neither.
Will say that similar to you all, I have been on stages. I have had many opportunities. I'm a speaker by profession. That's the thing that pays me. And I've also had people reach out and sponsor episodes. I've had different career coaches sponsor. I've had people sponsor merch. I've done custom commercials.
Lord.
So I'm just so thankful and grateful for the community that is really created, and people are offering resources to my audience because they know the mission is to get somebody hired. So
Yeah.
it's been so great.
That's what it's all about. I tell people, don't hold it all in. The blessing comes back to you tenfold when you sit there and try to. You can pass that on to everybody and help somebody versus whatever that resource is. So, okay. Anybody else before I go to my next question? No. All right. Favorite podcast episode to date? Jennifer it might have been Jennifer's favorite child over here with. I want to ask you.
Over here with tea. Over here with tea.
What you drinking when you was asking her these questions? Okay, carry on. Don't answer that.
I think that would definitely be my one of my favorites. But I would say she's one of my favorites. But I definitely have a second favorite. It would be Natalia Grace. Natalia Grace. I think I have the most views on that one. So she is a woman who was a child when she was adopted, and the family that adopted her felt like she was an adult, but they thought they were adopting a child. Yeah. So I did a podcast.
I don't need to listen to.
Yeah, girl, just
You too. Me too.
Listen, I don't know how you get that confused. So please tell us where your platform is, because I would love to hear it. I really would.
I know where I'm going after the show.
This is a big story. Like, this is huge. So I got in on the ground floor of it, but it's going on for like years. So they thought they were adopting. So she has dwarfism. So that's why they thought she was a child. They thought they were adopting a child. She has dwarfism. They got her birth certificate changed. Her birth certificate shows she was a child. They changed her birth certificate to show that she was an adult. And they put her in a home, like her own apartment, and they left her there and moved out of the country. Moved out of the country. Come to find out years later, she was actually a child, and they abandoned a child in her own apartment. Yeah. And that episode has the most views on my YouTube channel, on my Spotify, everywhere.
That's not good karma, fam. It's not good karma. Okay.
No. Now she's alleged because it's still going on. This young lady's story is still going on. Now
is she now?
She's 22 now. She's 22 now.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
The therapy.
Oh my gosh. And she's alleged abuse by these original foster parents. And she has since been moved to a different home, and she's lived with them for 10 years. But they hadn't adopted her. Guess what? As soon as they adopted her, she alleged abuse by them too. So it's the whole big thing. It's the whole big thing.
Wait a minute, is this the one? Because if this is the same case, I remember hearing about this, and she was coming on to the dad or something like that.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. It's alleged that she was coming on to the dad. It's alleged. That's why I'm like, this is a big story. This is
I need
huge.
something here. Okay. Yeah.
Now you see why I do my podcast.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I was like, what was in your cup when you was listening to this? Okay, all right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just you needed something strong to listen to that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like that. We got to stop letting her go first.
Okay.
I can't go behind that.
What you say, Dana? Can't top that, huh?
No.
Nope. Nope.
Sorry.
Anybody else favorite episode that just kind of, you like,
I
okay.
will share my favorite episode, but it is nothing in comparison to that. One of the last episodes of the season last year, I had a Black woman named Dr. Darla Bishop, and she had a book called How to Afford Everything.
I love her.
And
Yeah.
she wanted to make sure that Black and brown people who didn't have the information when it comes to financial stability had that information. And she shared on that show how when she was growing up, if something happened with her mother's car, that would, set them back. And I was like, oh, no, that's my story. That's my life. If something happened that was unexpected in our life, in our childhood, that would really mess my mother up. And so much so that I still have that same anxiety. Like, I need a set of tires right now, but I still have that same anxiety, although I'm able to afford it. So it really helps me kind of think about the way that I think about financial stability and what I'm trying to do for myself and my children. And then some of the things that I need to work through from childhood and just how I can be better so that they can be better.
Yeah, she'll be on next month. I love her. Yeah.
Love her.
I watched y'all's episode. I hollered. I said, look at these two.
We cut up. We had a little sing along and everything.
I was there. I said, Lord, what are we about to hear today from these two? Big speaker here. And everything. Okay. Anyone else before I go to the next?
I don't have a favorite episode per se, but I love interviewing women and giving them this platform to tell their stories. I remember I interviewed a woman and she was in a domestic violent relationship. They were married and she had never shared that with anyone until she came onto the podcast. So it's just giving people a voice and building that community. Those are my favorite episodes of all time, just interviewing other people.
Yeah, I share those same sentiments. I love just talking to people and just listening to their story, because we all share a lot of the same those same insecurities, a lot of the same things from childhood traumas. We all share those things. That's why it's so important podcasting, so important. Share your story.
Okay. All righty. Now, next question. Have you ever faced any criticism or negative feedback about one of your episodes? If so, how did you handle it? Go.
I faced some criticism about a show that I had, and the topic of the show was your kids are not in the streets, they on the phones. So we had this saying back in the day is keep your kids out the streets. And on the episode I was talking about the kids are not necessarily in the streets. The new streets are the phones. They're the phones, they're the tablets, and they're the TV, and they're the monitors. So it's not like you can't keep your kids out the streets. And I was talking about how children are being exposed to porn, to violence, being programmed, and the reason why you maybe have issues with your kid is because you are not your kid. Your kid goes to school and is influenced by other adults and children 8 hours a day. And if they had an after school program, most likely 12 to 13 hours a day. You do not see them. You are at work. And now when your child comes home, the only relationship that you actually have with them is that they're eating or they're getting washed up for dinner, or they're back in a room or somewhere with a tablet and with a hoodie on. And a wonderful individual. a wonderful individual who I guess loves tech and just decided that he wanted to have this. Well, he thought he was going to go back and forth with Diva, but Diva don't do that, baby. So he wrote this whole post about me on his blog about how I was a bitter single mother, which I'm not. It's been a while since I don't know, but he was like bitter mothers like Diva Ebony B. And she has the issue with technology. She lives in the stone age. Maybe if she kept a more eye on her child, it was just all the madness and craziness.
Mhm.
And what he failed to realize is he was in my city and we were in the same place and he didn't know that I knew the people that he knew. So
Pull
I
up.
offered him, yeah, so I pulled up on him. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. This is exactly what Diva did on him. And I didn't pull up on him Jersey style. Come on, y'all. I didn't pull up on Jersey style, but I really wanted to. So I went ahead and we was in Seattle at the time, and I pulled up on him and I said, "Hey, babe, can I buy you some coffee?" He didn't even know it was me. I found out where he was at and wrote down on him. And I was like, "I understand that you have an issue with me because you wrote a whole blog about me. And I just wanted you to give you the opportunity to sit in the presence of the diva, which meaning I'm divine, intelligent, with a victorious attitude.
You
So
better
you can
tell
be
him.
able to ask me what you want because I feel like you needed the opportunity to sit with me. Let's break bread, baby." And he was very stunned.
Of course.
He was very
Both of you.
stunned
Yeah.
and pulled back and he was like, "Well, I'm not for sure what you're talking about." And thank God I had the receipts. I said, "What is article you wrote about me? Did you know it was me?" I said, I just wanted to go over a couple of points with you. And I ran down, I said, "Baby, I'm married." And I said, "The last time I've been a single mother, if I was a single mother at this time, me and you wouldn't be having this conversation. But do you have any children?" And at the end of the conversation, he was able to understand the points that I was bringing to him and about the show, and that he can reach out to any time to talk to me. But we going to go ahead and take that down while I'm here. God bless you. And he's removed the post and we kept it moving.
I love it.
I would not suggest anyone to do what I did, but I will say I love to give the people opportunity for us to talk back and forth, and you can ask me a question and not necessarily get into your feelings about it. If you want to interview me, if you want to learn more about why I feel this way about a topic, please let's sit down because we can disagree. We can agree to disagree. But when you go and write a whole post about me and you don't even know that you in my city, you're doing this for clout. Like you didn't know how close I was to you, and I was able to walk up into a Panera Bread on you like that. I don't think that's safe for you, honey.
Not the Panera child.
Okay. Yes.
That's a
I eat
Panera.
a sandwich.
He was so comfortable too, and God bless him. He was one of the envelopian brothers, and he decided to make that post and not realizing that
Hold
I was gonna
on.
run up on
Stop. Stop. What was he again? Say that for the people in the back. What was he again?
for the people in the black back and aside, and who's ear hustling. He was one of our envelopian brothers. Um, who decided to make this post about me. It really wasn't, but it was enough, and he did that. So we have to come to a place of grace and have a conversation at Panera Bread.
Yeah.
New hashtag for the year. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody can top that one?
Ooh,
Oh,
no.
sorry.
But I will say that I am my own worst critic, and I had an episode, and I was like, I am not laughing. This is trash. So I recorded it. I put it up for a second, and then I archived that baby because, yeah, it was just not good. Like this is not funny. I don't like funny. So if gotta take that on me down. But I will say I haven't gotten criticism, but I have gotten people who don't do what it is that we do that think they can advise me on what I should be doing and how I
Yeah.
should be helping folks. And I'm like, if I should be helping them that way, maybe you should be doing it because I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing.
Your show, your way.
You want to do
You
a
don't
job?
like it? Turn the
You
station.
do a job fair, but right here, right now, it's me and my microphone.
Oh Lord.
I just say gravitate to the people that you can rock with. It's so many different podcasts out here. You do not have to sit and listen to somebody that you don't like and critique what they look like, what they sound like. If you don't like it, click off.
My thing is, it got back to Ebony. I'm still on Ebony. As if it wasn't going to get back to you. I'm gonna leave that alone. But that's
No, it was. I mean, Queens. It was so close. He didn't even realize how loved I am and how close in the people that he just was doing it for clout. But he didn't even realize how close in the people that read it, because they came telling me, I didn't even know. I'm like, you sure you're talking about me? But he was so close. The same networks that and crowds that he was in, at least 4 of them, I had already established my name, established my integrity there, so they know exactly who I was. And come to find out, he was just one of those clout chasers and satire blogs, and I put up on him, and I was very much a lady, but I just made sure my kings was with me, the ones who knew him, and they let me know where he was going to be at. They was going to be meeting with him, and I just slid to the table with my suit and tie on, all purple, real royal. And I said, I think we need to have a conversation.
Okay, purple, royal. That is
Mm-hmm.
royal. I love it. I'm here for it. So, what is next? I'm looking at Ebony. So, Ebony, this is the question for everybody. What is next for you and your podcast in 2024? What's next?
So I am super excited to announce that what's next for me and Diva Spot Podcast Lounge is the 2024 summer. Me and my 10-year-old daughter, she is a co-owner of Queen's Royal Sips, which is a specialty lemonade and specialty treat company. We are launching this year, and we will be working with St. Jude's Hospital this year.
Amazing.
And you will see the lemonade all around. We have our custom. I am so excited about this because we'll be broadcasting live at the St. Jude's events and raising money for St. Jude's Hospital. And we will have our custom watermelon mint lemonade as far as our uptowns, our downtowns, and our strawberry lemonade. So we are super excited to just go out, serve the community, and connect and get this little 10-year-old entrepreneur um, out there networking with more boss babes and queens and other kids and families just like you guys.
Love it. Love it. Janine, what's next for you and your podcast and all the things 2024?
Yes, the podcast will still have weekly episodes, and I am actually taking my voice to live stages, doing more speaking engagements, and then serving my clients in my coaching program. So I'm really excited for this year.
Amazing. Are we doing? I know we talked about a little something about TEDx. Are we TEDxing it?
That is the goal, to get on TEDx this year. Yes.
Same. I will be in prayer for you.
Let's go.
TEDx,
Yes,
baby. We can do it. They had the one here in Frisco, and I hate I couldn't make it. The TEDx event Frisco. I hate I missed it, but I said I got to tune with TEDx Frisco. All right.
Yes, I'm excited for us.
Love it, love it. All right, Dr. Jennifer, come on, true crime. We need to put you on oxygen or something, child. Okay, go
Yes.
ahead.
Look, that's the goal. That's the goal. Oxygen, ID Network, my favorite. A&E, any of those will do. I'll take them all. But for 2024, for my podcast, bigger name guests, more episodes, because I didn't do as many as I wanted last year, but I want to do more episodes this year, maybe longer versions of my episodes, but definitely more guests, more episodes. That's what my podcast will look like this year.
Okay, awesome. Dana.
Yes. So my podcast is back next Friday, the 16th, LinkedIn live audio at 3 p.m. You can tap in and join the live audio cast by raising your hand and talking to me and my guest. As far as everything else that I'm doing, I am booked and busy, and I've been on a bit of a press run. So I'll be on another podcast that'll be out next Friday. I was on a magazine on Monday, and I've been on the local news sharing the word about my
Just doing big
grandmother, who is
things.
a history maker. I'm also going to be on so many stages nationwide. We have a little story dates out and everywhere, speaking about everything diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as culture and engagement. So keep up with the big speaker if you can, and I hope to see y'all out there.
All righty. And last but not least, real quick, Chauncea, what you doing next, boo?
So I'm going to continue to do my interviews on my Girl Get Up podcast. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on iHeartRadio. And also, you can also find me on my career curriculum program, IG. That's at Your Infinite Direction, where I'm going to be doing some lives with some established business owners for youth as far as financial literacy, networking. So that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for coming on to the Podcasters
Thank
Only
you.
episode 61 of the Mamapreneur podcast. Thank you all, audience, so much for tuning in today to tonight's podcast. I hope that you enjoy our ladies. I'll be back in 2 more weeks with some amazing entrepreneurs, and make sure that you follow us on YouTube at Mamapreneur Podcast. Have a good night, y'all. Be blessed.